Just roll with it, guys. Don't worry. It'll be entertaining. And let's kill it.
Hey, welcome into Views from the Bridge, your second favorite Philadelphia Union podcast. I am your host, some of the time, Justin Ashcraft here with you on the pod tonight. I've got two of the guys here with me. So Chuck Booth is
I am.
Who's stating
freshly showered.
stating facts tonight.
Hey, it puts me in a better mood for actually podcasting after what has been a very long day. And yeah, it's good that we have fun things to talk about for a change.
I was going to say, the Union didn't put you in a better mood to be talking about this?
Oh, they did. I mean, heck, I'm the one who messaged, like, hey, shouldn't we probably
Shouldn't we
talk about
actually talk
goals
about
for
this?
a change?
I like talking about goals. And Paul Catrino is here with me too.
Hey. Yeah, showering is good self-care, Chuck. I totally understand that from getting ready for a podcast perspective, especially now that we do have some video elements to the show, which is pretty cool. Fun to see the Union heating up at pretty much the perfect time for their run of form, which is great because I'm going to join them in heating up by doing a little Hot Ones challenge here. On today's episode, we will be starting with the Los Caliente Verde. This is a 5 out of 10 on the Scoville scale of a show about hot wings. And I'll just be talking about Union stuff while doing some hot sauce here. You know, just in an ode to heating up for the...
You talked about mentioning a wild card, and like, of all the thought of you throwing at us as a wrinkle in the podcast, this is not anything that would be even close to my radar, which is like, I just don't know how in this many years of knowing you, you still find ways to surprise me.
Oh, Chuck, that's how we keep the relationship so spicy. You know, just like this hot sauce here. All right, here we go. So as you can see on the video, you can see that video sauce coming out of there. All right, I'll eat this chip, but as we're eating this chip, why don't we talk about this hot performance that we've got?
We really are just playing into everyone now getting videos of us.
It's definitely. I mean, it's better than doing visuals on an audio, which we've done for years. Now we actually have the visuals to back our audio up, so that's good. Yeah, the Union looked like the Union against I guess a second half team in Toronto, 4-2 to the good guys this time. And this one was pretty much over by halftime, though. So I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? A lot of things to talk about.
I mean, overall, it was great. Unfortunate that they did allow the 2 goals. Like, you would have liked to finish that strong, but also they finished it the most important way with a win and everyone healthy for LAFC this week.
Yeah, I can kind of see that they lost their focus a little bit there at the end. I mean, when you consider how much they were bullying their center backs all game, it kind of seemed like a moot point to kind of punish them further in that same way, even though they were bringing in new guys to play a different style. But, like, they clearly took their foot off the gas a little bit. And I guess in that game, when you are trying to protect bodies, that's fine. Insigne's foot is always going to produce one really, really good shot a game. And not much Blake could do there. But, again, if it's 3 points, you take it, especially, you know, when the most important factor is the 3 points at this point in the season.
Yeah, the Union. I mean, the Union needed the points, so got the points, which is what is important in that. In this game. First goal Which one was I'm like totally. Which was the first goal? Was either the one that bounced around the box and somehow just ended up at the back of the net, or the other one that Ure kind of kicked toward the net, but then it just kind of ended up in the back of the net too. Either way,
They were
not good
all
defending.
The first one was the own goal, Justin.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
really, as a defender, when you're trying to do a clearance like that, you really just need to advise as to where's your body right now. Like, if you're going to swing your leg aimlessly into this ball on the ground, are you facing the goal? Maybe don't do that. These are things that they teach defenders early on. After maybe a few introductory courses in defending. But, I mean, this kind of set the tone for the defense that entire game, right? I mean, shoot themselves in the foot a couple times. I mean, well, I won't get too far ahead with Sean Johnson's mistakes because, but yeah, that first goal was funny. That was a funny goal.
The funny thing is Toronto's defense for the half. Defense has been playing for the first 5 minutes of every game this season. Except they continued it. Like they made so many mistakes that made it look like they've never played together. And like then you look at every player on the roster, like these are mostly professionals who have years of experience under their belt, and they're playing like rookies. Because I don't even want to say they're playing like USL players, because the USL back line still holds their line better than they did.
It was not pretty. It was not a pretty defensive effort by Toronto for sure. Yeah, I think that first goal. I mean, that was the nice thing about that first goal, even though it wasn't really anything the Union did to get it in. Like the Union put the ball in the position that it needed to be to get bounced around the box and into the net, and I think that's. I think we've been talking all season long about the Union starting out slow and coming out kind of sloppy at the beginning of games. And this game was definitely, it seems like they've worked on that this week in training of like, we can't start games slow all the time and expect to come back and win them or draw them or whatever. So they came out in this one in the first 10 minutes or so, were all over Toronto and made it. Yeah, I mean, put the ball in the positions that it needed to be to score. And so, yeah, I mean, when you're facing a team with Bernadeschi and Insigne, yeah, the best thing to do is not let them have the ball. And for the majority of the first half, neither Bernadeschi or Insigne got on the ball that much. So it's good on the Union.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is let those guys start heating up. Just like this red hot Reuben hot sauce that I have here next on the gauntlet. This is guaranteed to burn twice. It's got a chipotle smoke to it. So we're going to just go ahead and... that comes out thick. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, dear. But like to the credit of Toronto, they do have Sean Johnson in net, which, should give them a little bit of an advantage in these situations. But I don't know why anyone would ever decide to save that ball. I mean, they hadn't really given up any set-piece goals during this season. I don't know why he was afraid of a corner kick. That's not really where Union goals come from. And then to argue for a foul by Carranza, I mean, I think he's lost the point. I truly think he's lost the point as a starting goalie.
Yeah, there was nothing close to a foul in that play. I mean, Carranza just beat him to the ball, and he just puts his back, he turns away from the ball, lets Johnson try to jump over him, which didn't work. And then he goes and gets the ball and sends it back across the net. And luckily Ure is there to kind of direct it towards the goal. it did take a deflection, but yeah, I don't. Sean Johnson had no right to argue there.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that just happen when you have no confidence in your defense, though. Like, we've seen plenty of times where Sean Johnson has been a perfectly capable goalkeeper, both for that other New York club and for the national team. So, like, I don't really want to put this on him not knowing what he's supposed to do, but when you see defenders executing stupid back passes, not marking their men, you do kind of have to take everything up on yourself, even if it seems like it's something that should have absolutely nothing to do with you. And those are just the situations that Toronto has put him in, where as they just send players there to die. But again, like, it still just doesn't matter because it's whatever Mikel Ure needed to get his first MLS hat trick, Player of the Week honors, and it's showing how early we are still in the season. He's 5th in the Golden Boot standings in the league now.
It's pretty damn impressive. It's pretty damn impressive because he's doing it in a bunch of different ways. Like the hold-up play is like really just fantastic to see from him. He's kind of using his body more to kind of be that physical presence up top. He makes smart runs, and when he gets into open space, he's fast. Just like everything you really like wanted to ask for in like a complete striker. You know, it's really nice to see.
That's what made you like just so mad watching him earlier in the season. And I mean, I don't want to take a game against Toronto to say that everything is fixed, because it's still Toronto. But like, is it burning twice, Paul?
The second one just kicked in a little bit. Yeah. Really good flavor. really spices up there.
Well, no, I mean, that is at least good that it's a flavorful spice.
Would put on stuff.
But yeah, it's just like he has it in him to be one of the best strikers in MLS, and I mean, he has competition on his own team in Julian Carranza. But when like you're a big dude at 6'2", like, body a defender. Like, it was so great to actually just see him back into a center back and like score from getting a physical advantage, because like really we've seen more of his goals just come from, I made a good run, beat this player off the run, and like place my shot perfectly. But it's like he can do both, and when you have like two people up top who can just like knock you down and score a goal, that's just so much more for defenses to think about when most teams want to play with one physical center back and then one center back that sits back.
Yeah.
And the Union at their best don't allow you to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, Ure had one. He had a shot at some point in the game. I don't remember what it was, where he was bodying the defender and kind of somehow rolled off the defender and got the shot away. That one didn't go in, but it showed how dangerous he can be when he is physical like that. And I think you're right, Chuck. When the problem for opposing teams against the Union is when Carranza and Ure are both at their best, which I would argue Carranza may have been a little off in this game, not a ton, but he was a little bit off in this game. But when you have two defenders or two strikers like that who, when they're both operating at their best, you can't key on either one of them. If you key on Ure, then Carranza gets free with his running and everything else. When you key on Ure like bodying you like that, then he can spin off you and make a run and end up on your back shoulder real quick and all of that. So there's all different ways.
Well, also then you key on both and you have Daniel Gazdak.
That's the big thing there.
Yeah,
for sure. Like if you're gonna beat the Union at their best, you better have the two CBs figured out like on the same page, and you better have a defensive midfielder that knows what the hell he's doing positionally, because their triangle work is just elite. Like their passing, they don't even have to look at their other guy to get the ball to them. Like there is like a feel of like an old Barcelona to the way that they like are building up and passing, and it's the stuff we saw last season, and the fact that it just hasn't gone away is just an ode to how much chemistry they've built up together up top. Like those three, just I really don't have many notes.
Yeah, and I would say it's across the board too. Like I too. I think there are other triangles and other groups of players on the field who are figuring it out. I think when Gazdag especially like drifts out left and you get McGlynn and Wagner and him just like dinking the ball around a little bit, like then one of them all of a sudden takes off down the line and it's like, oh look, that guy's free down the line to stick across in the box and all that kind of stuff. It makes it really hard to beat this team, and that's what for 90% of this game, well, maybe not even 90%, 75% of this game at least, the Union were at their best, and the way that they have been, for all of last season. And then I think, yeah, like you said, they let their foot off the gas. I think, you get that one where I don't know what the Toronto defense was thinking, but Ure just runs in. Gazdag's clearly offside, but like Ure's not, and like nobody follows Ure, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna stick this one past Sean Johnson. It's like, well, you can't. Gazdag didn't influence the play; he stood there while Ure ran past him. Like, you got to follow the runners too. And so, yeah, it's and then after that, it felt like they did take their foot off the gas and started these little back heel flicks and things like that never actually came off. And it's like, that's not the Union, but like, it's fine because you're up 4-0 in the game. And so it is what it is. But and you said, Paul, too, like if you're gonna beat the Union, you got to have a solid defensive midfielder, and your center backs have to have things figured out. And Toronto, we do have to say, I mean, they were missing Michael Bradley and they were missing Matt Hedges, which those are two big misses again, especially against a team like a Union. But to not take anything away from the Union, they did play the team that was on the field, and they did play them rather well. And I think, I think your earlier point, Chuck, like you have to, it's going to be interesting to see if they can follow this up on Wednesday. And if they can follow it up with a good performance on Wednesday, then you go, okay, maybe the Union are back. But it's putting a string of performances together at this point.
Yeah, and we also just know that the only way that the Union win against LAFC is by scoring goals. Like, you can defend LAFC all you want, but they're still going to score. So you have to score more than them. And this is a team that is one of the few in MLS that has proven that they can keep up goal for goal. So it was just very refreshing to finally see the entire team unleashed, like Kai Wagner make a miraculous recovery to magically be back at his best just in time for the most important game of the season. Because, like, I mean, I still do believe that with where we are right now on the roster, that he's the most irreplaceable person on it. And performances like this kind of show that, because every amazing offensive performance that we've seen has him just flying up the left flank. And as we've seen, Nathan Harriel and Matt Real can't do that.
It's certainly looking like they have their one side completely figured out. And it also has to speak to the credit of Leon Flock is no longer the shuttling midfielder beside Bedoya. He has been replaced by young boy. The young...
That's even pushing Flock to be better finally.
Yeah.
Like,
no, of course. Yeah,
because it's
like
his performances now have been great. And even in one of his recent pressers, like, I'm pretty sure Jim Curtin was like, I wanted to start him based on like his performances, but you kind of can't when you also have Jack McLean doing that. So it's like, it's a good problem to have with two left-sided shuttling midfielders in form, but you can only start one. And right now, as long as Kai Wagner is the left back. It needs to be McGlynn.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think what's fun about this game on Wednesday, or these games the next 2 Wednesdays, is there is that element of revenge and all of that. So I think McGlynn is going to be at his best because he knows what he missed out on, I guess, at the end of last season. Bedoya being back and healthy he knows what he missed out on in that game, and so I think it is going to be it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I don't want to get too much into the revenge stuff. I kind of hate that. It's a new season, new game, new. LAFC
But
has retooled in
damn
a
well
lot of
that that's
ways.
what's going through
You
Alejandro
know
Bedoya's
damn
mind.
well.
Oh yeah,
that's what's going
Bedoya
on
definitely
there.
for sure.
Because
This
missing that and then being like, just I alone can be the difference in this team emerging with a different result this time around.
Yeah, they better have a mic in the pregame huddle to hear Bedoya's speech. That
There are
better
going to be some spicy takes and spicy words in that pregame talk for sure. This game coming up is undoubtedly the matchup of the season. I don't care about the regular season fixture in September. I feel like Supporter Shield is not a thing that we need to be worried about right now. It needs to be this game.
We're not.
And for the hottest game of the season, we go with the hottest sauce that I have, which is actually called The Last Dab. You might know it from a show online for being over 2 million on the Scoville scale. So here we go.
Paul's not gonna be able to talk for the rest of the episode, so Chuck, we can just go back and forth. It's all good.
No, but I'm just really excited that there's no Gareth Bale to ruin this for me
For sure.
anymore. Because
there's Dennis Bouanga.
okay, but it's not Gareth Bale. Like, I don't have a inherent reason to hold a grudge against this guy. Like, Gareth Bale has done that enough to me as a player over his career that oh my god. That it'll feel a little nicer that they have to come into our park. They have to come into our grounds and try to do this thing on a cold Wednesday in Chester. There's a nice feeling to that. Like I worry more about this fixture than the away fixture, to be honest, because if you're not going to see Peak Union here, you're not going to see it back on their ground. You're not. You have to meet this challenge head on with your best roster, and the fact that they didn't get any injuries on Saturday means that this is going to be a really hot matchup.
Yeah,
Real hot.
just like that sauce, huh?
Yeah, I just hit the back of my throat.
I think MLS obviously knows how important this fixture is, deciding to give LAFC the weekend off.
Yeah, that's fucking
Yeah, it
bullshit.
must be nice. Must be nice.
Even though they didn't plan ahead like Ernst Tanner did.
Yeah, it's like, yes, do they deserve the week off? Sure. If you're gonna make these schedule quirks the way you did and have teams like plan things properly, it's very annoying that they did this, but at least it is good at the end of the day that both teams will be on equal footing, and I guess they will be at a disadvantage when it comes to the Supporter Shield race because they'll have to now play 2 double game weeks, because with moving the original El Tráfico to the 4th of July and now moving this game, something's going to have to be on an off week.
Yeah, they can't make the schedule or the season longer for LA. They haven't done a rule yet that would allow that, I should say, because I don't want to jinx myself. They don't have that rule yet, So
I was going to say we don't
do
know
have
the
some-
rule book anymore
Oh.
because it's written every day.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That is not a novel that is finished yet. I'll tell you, good flavor on that sauce though. But it's an
hot?
oven. It's an oven in my mouth. I don't understand why people would put this on, I guess, regular human food. I'm a little confused right now.
You own it,
and
so
also,
I don't know.
it was a birthday gift.
You're doing better
Not a
than I
very good
expected
one.
you to.
Whew. But yeah, I expect to feel this same way come kickoff time on Wednesday, because this is it. Like this is the game. It really, really is. Like throw the rest of the season out the window for a brief second and enjoy this chaos that's going to be Wednesday night. It's going to be a hell of a CONCACAF game. I have a feeling it's going to be a classic, and I think it is going to be 3-2 Union.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge that you have in this game is unlike everywhere else in the world who has done away with the rule, the away goals thing is still in play. So I'd hope we don't give up that many goals
You're right.
away from home. Like or at our own park. I know we're not going to shut LAFC out. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if we finish with more goals than them.
Right.
I don't want to get into a spot where we're having to score 5 or something, crazy in LA.
Oh, would you rather need to score 5 in LA or go to another penalty shootout?
I'm taking the 5 in LA. I don't think I trust this team in a shootout. They haven't shown me that they could win it in a shootout.
I don't know if I trust this team in a shootout against LA again. In LA.
No.
I don't know. There's something to demons being released. If you get a second shot at something, maybe you overcome. I don't know.
Look,
I just don't think we score. We don't score 5 in LA.
Forward. I'm all for what you're putting forward here, Justin. Right? It is the setup to really overcome that soccer adversity that they went through last season. You gotta give me something to go off here, though. I'm not going to sit here and just blindly believe that this team. First of all, I don't want to be naive enough that they've recreated this game time situation and have practiced it over and over again, because that's maybe not the best use of your time. But I don't know. With last season leaving such a bad taste in my mouth, I'm not buying it. I'll take the fighting back for goals.
Here's the thing that worries. Here's the thing that worries me about this game, and it doesn't. In every one of these classics against LA we've played, it is despite the strikers' performance that we've gotten the results that we've gotten. And so the reality is, for even just thinking back to the final, like, you don't have Corey Burke in overtime of this game to be almost injuring goalkeepers and getting them red cards and etc. You don't have and like Jack Elliott's not going to score a brace for you every game you play against LAFC, and Jacob Glesnes is not going to put a 40-yard screamer into the back of the net every game against LAFC. So I think it's on Ure and Carranza again, just like they did against Toronto, to get on top of LA early and make LA come from behind. But then you better be focused in the second half to not give up goals. And the worst thing that Union can, if you get up to 1, that trash second goal in the 7th minute to
So
have a second away goal. Like that's the way you got to shift your thinking on this game.
Yeah, the good thing is like I don't think you need to worry about that because the problem is with what we've seen so far this season is that with the highs that this team has hit, how can you motivate them for a regular season game? Like,
right.
They just expect to win. They go out there, they play how they play, and they still usually win. This completely different animal. Like they know that this is the one team that has had our number recently. And like while even like the games have still been close after last year, everything's just been on beat LA. So if they go ahead, like I definitely agree that they're not gonna shut them out, but I do see them only allowing like one goal at Subaru Park. I'm a little bit more concerned in the away leg, but we don't have to worry about that yet because it's just play the best you can on your park and then put things into their hands. And I think with that, like 2-1 or even 3-1 Union are really in like results that could happen on Wednesday night.
That's why my middle ground prediction is 3-2, because I unfortunately think that garbage second goal is going to come, but it is still legally and probably from a feeling perspective a nice win to get. Everyone's going to be sitting here worried that, oh no, we had to go back to LA. Take your moment, breathe. You've beaten this team. You did it. Yeah. You did it on a night that you had to. You did it on a night where they had more rest than you. You did it. And you take that, you compartmentalize it, and you take it forward in the season knowing that you can beat the best talent in this league in any kind of stakes in a game, which should, in theory, lead you right back to MLS Cup final because now you're built for this moment. You've had an entire playoff experience. You've had the heartbreak and the letdown of it, and you've now have another chance with all the cohesion and no turnover, really, 95% no turnover, to really go at and do this again. But that's what makes this game the most important game of the season. And I will not be going forward and rehashing this later on. I'll try not to do it more than twice, but like it's now. Like Wednesday, Get excited. This is it. This is going to be the measure.
I would agree. And I think if you can dominate this game and not even necessarily scoreline wise, I don't think you have to win the game 4-1 or something. But if you can dominate this game, put a good performance in, win the game, that gives you a lot of confidence headed back to LA. And I think the team has shown that they can perform in LA. So how do you come back and do it again in LA? If you win this game, then just don't lose in LA and you'll be good. And so, yeah, I think it's all good, but you got to play this game first. You can't get suckered into looking at the next game. You got to play this game first. Play this game the best you can. Go on to the next game, and I think if you can get out of these two legs and get past LA, like that's going to bode well for the rest of the season.
This has been really fun, guys. Like, with the Union giving us something genuinely, showing us some life. Sure. It's been really exciting to talk about, and I really appreciate the fans.
Oh no,
here.
There's another one.
Like all the fans really who have like stuck through us through so many different things. This is it's been a really good time, and I want you all to know how much I appreciate this community we have built here at Views from the Bridge. This is all three sauces combined. This is for you guys. Cheers. Just thank you for sticking with Views from the Bridge. Your second favorite Union podcast.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
at VFTB Pod if you have anything to say to Paul or any of the rest of us. Paul's going to go chug a glass of milk after this and hopefully get all of the spicy burniness out of his mouth. And then we're going to watch the Union hopefully beat LA on Wednesday. And we'll probably be back with another episode to talk about the second leg. So hopefully it'll be a fun episode, not a negative episode. But until then, at VFTB Pod, all over the internet.
It's going to be great.